Hello everyone and welcome to another Used Tech Hustle graphics card review. Now since the last graphics card I reviewed, which was the RX 460, I've been very impressed with AMD's offerings and I was very eager to check out another one. So I kept my eyes peeled for a bargain and I've managed to pick up the next card I'm going to review, which was the R7 260X from Asus with 2GB of RAM. The R7 260X was originally released in late 2013. This particular model I've got from Asus comes with a large heatsink and two fans to help keep it cool. For output options, you've got the array of DVI-I, DVI-D, DisplayPort and HDMI connections, so pretty much anything you can imagine you're going to need for this day and age. For those interested in the core specifications, this particular model from Asus operates on the PCI Express 3 standard, has 2GB of GDDR5 running at 1750MHz, the core clock speed of this particular model is 1188MHz, and offers a maximum resolution of 2560 by 1600 if you're using the DVI connection. It also works with DirectX 11, so it's still very good for the latest and greatest games, although you may need to lower the settings as you'll see later on. Now before I put this thing to the test, although I'm very happy with the condition the card came in, it was overall very clean, I did decide to give it a quick once over, reapplying some fresh thermal paste. Now the one thing I will say for anyone looking to disassemble this particular model for doing the same thing, or cleaning, it is very easy to take apart, with just 4 screws as usual holding the backplate on, and just a couple of extras for holding the fans on if you wanted to go that deep. I didn't need to in this particular occasion because it was in very good condition overall to begin with, but if you're into giving the whole thing a quick cleanse, then at least you're safe in the knowledge it's incredibly easy to do so. Once it was cleaned, I fired up my X58 system for benchmarking, although do forgive me, this particular footage is from another card as I lost the footage of this one in place, and we've decided to take this thing for a spin and see what it can do. Let's take a look at the results. So first up we've got CSGO, and it should come as no surprise given this thing runs actually on potatoes, that it runs very well here. Although I've got the settings cranked way up, we're still getting a decent average, although if you're into the competitive side of things, you may want to lower them to try and hit the 100 FPS mark. Overall though, very happy and very smooth. Next up we've got one of my absolute favourites in the form of Cities Skylines. This particular game seems to be one of those ones which either runs alright or not at all, and thankfully I'm happy to report it runs pretty well here with an average of around about 30 frames a second, certainly playable. Now, forgive the awful gameplay here, the only time I play this game is to benchmark graphics cards, and yep, as you can see, very good performance from medium settings here. I probably need to spend some time learning how to actually play this game, but I'm not really interested to be honest. But yeah, as far as the graphics card goes, very good, very smooth as you can see. Then one of my all-time favourite games, which still to this day I think looks incredible. We've got Dirt 3 with a very nice average of around about 60 frames a second. I have to say though, this does run extremely well on the highest possible settings, and for the price I've paid, this is a top performer. Okay, although I don't really play this game very much at all because I've always been very awful at it, PUBG at low settings, again very playable, a decent average as you can see. Although I'm quite awful at the game, the graphics card eats it for breakfast at low settings, although you may want more if you're a bit more competitive. BF1, which I have to say is one of the most well optimised games I've ever come across, same as Dirt 3. This runs buttery smooth as far as I'm concerned. Now I will point out I am coming from the perspective of somebody who's usually a console gamer, so buttery smooth to me might be something different to you, but as you'll see from the averages at high settings, very playable indeed, and you can lower it. GTA 5 next, and again a very good average. Although I run the benchmarks to see what it's like, I do usually play a bit of the game as well, and certainly on high settings with the RAM that's provided, very playable, very smooth. Next up we've got a new addition to my benchmarking collection in the form of Mafia 3. This one I did need to drop the settings way down, but we're still able to get an average of around about 30 frames a second. Now this particular game I've noticed with no matter what graphics card or system I run it on, it seems to have this strange, I wouldn't say stutter, but it's more of a chugging effect. Either way, this is as good as you're going to expect. Now we've got Fortnite, and yeah, as you can imagine with a game as well optimized as this, it's a beast. It just eats it up. Absolutely no problem here at all, running at medium settings, very smooth frame rate. If you're into this online, this would be a perfect card for a budget system. Finally, we're going to take a look at the Unigine scores. I will say I may start removing this from my benchmarks, as the more I add it, the more it seems kind of irrelevant really. But there it is. If you're following along at home, there's some numbers for you to look at. Enjoy. There we have it, guys. That's my overview and benchmarks for the R7 260X. Now personally, I'm happy to say that this is another AMD card I would easily recommend if you can pick it up for a good deal. It's played all the games I would want to play on it very, very well for the price. And obviously if you're looking for super tip-top performance, then obviously this kind of older card isn't for you. But for now, you can see on eBay you can pick one up with the same kind of memory for around about £40 to £50. There are 1GB versions available as well, but I would say to maybe hold out for the 2GB ones, as you will see more benefits in more recent games. But yep, overall I would absolutely suggest this card to anyone looking for a budget card for a build. Anyway, I hope you've liked this video. If you do want to see more like this, then do check out some of the others on my channel. If you've enjoyed this particular one, then please drop a like on it. And if you've got this card and are still loving it, or you've hated it, or anything like that, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and well, I'll see you in the next one.